Hello, welcome back to my channel. I've got a quick travel diary for you. Let's go together to Rome, Italy. I want to share my knowledge and some tips and highlights from my trip, so let's start off with pizza. We went and got some pizza right after I got there, which was super nice. I got some supplì, which is kind of like a rice ball mozzarella stick combined. Aperol spritz here, and aperitivo, which is like little bites before dinner. Fruttella is my favorite candy over there. It's kind of like Starburst. And one of our first nights we went out to a bar, watched a soccer game, which is obligatory in Italy. And then we went to the Colosseum at night, which is so gorgeous. Highly recommend. One of our first days we spent at the beach, and if you don't know, Italian beaches do beach chair or loungers and umbrella rentals, which is nice. For dinner that night, we went to this place that literally in English translates to the tavern. I got pasta and listen to this steak sizzle. The next day, I woke up pretty early, so I spent some time reading before we went to breakfast. We each had a cappuccino and a different selection of pastries, hopped on a bus, and we went into the center of Rome to do some sightseeing. Alright, this monument needs no introduction. That is, of course, the Trevi fountain, and it tends to be very busy at almost every hour of the day, so we'll go back later. Went to the AS Roma store and walked past the Pantheon, which is another famous and massive monument. You can see how small those people are compared to it. Just the sheer scale of these structures is quite amazing to me. We stopped at a somewhat local-ish seeming cafe, got some lunch, and I got a cookie called an occhi di bue, which is eye of the bull. It's traditional and delicious. And check out these Dolce & Gabbana mochas. How gorgeous are they? We walked over to Piazza Navona and went to see more monuments, take some pictures, and see lots of gorgeous architecture. After that, we did some more walking over to a couple more monuments, specifically the next one, which is Castel Sant'Angelo, or the Castle of the Holy Angel. We took a moment to admire this gorgeous view, which I will let you do as well. We filled up our water bottles from one of the fountains nearby, which I thought was pretty, and then we walked around the inside of the entrance to St. Peter's Basilica. We did not go inside, but the outside is massive and beautiful enough. We also saw one of these little book markets on our way home. They had other souvenirs as well. And here's a quick puppy break. Alright, next morning, here is a cappuccino, and I believe, as I've been told, this is the mark of a great cappuccino when the sugar slips through the foam like this and then disappears. And I also discovered a love for ginseng coffee on this trip because I tend to be a tea drinker and not a coffee drinker. Please take a moment with me to admire this pastry chef in making what I believe are eclairs. During the day, we ended up getting a little sweet treat, gelato, and I got two traditional flavors, which are basically chocolate chip and hazelnut, traditionally called stracciatella and nocciola. Alright, so if you already didn't know, soccer is the sport in Rome, in Italy in general, so naturally, the boys had to play some soccer while we were there, and I had the very important job of keeping the time, and I also did a little videography because, of course, why wouldn't I? The next day, we ended up getting another wonderful Italian breakfast. We've got the cornetto in there, we've got the cappuccino, the ginseng, the occhi di bue, and I was just in love with this pistachio cream. It was so fantastic. On one of our last days, we took a guided walking tour of the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, and the Palatine Hill. Now, if you've never been to Rome before, I definitely recommend this as one of your top things to book, because I think the guided tour gives you so much better of an appreciation for these structures, and it's a great experience. You get to walk around for about 3 hours, so definitely wear sneakers and bring a water bottle, but it is just so impressive to see all these beautiful structures. Even not in their best glory, they are still so impressive. I can't imagine what it must have been like to have seen the Roman Forum in all its glory, and it's just such a crazy experience to see all of these different structures that are still left behind. You could definitely spend an entire day here if you're traveling in Rome. Alright, a favorite and unexpected spot along the Palatine Hill tour was this mossy fountain that had a goldfish pond at the bottom. It's found along the staircase up to the top. And here is the view from the top of the Palatine Hill. We had such a gorgeous weather day for this. Later that night, we got some Aperol Spritz and got the night going along the river in Trastevere, where there is a lot of vendors and cool things there. I even got some earrings from this vendor. They go by Plexi Shock. You can find them on Instagram. And these were the earrings that I ended up wearing to the next day when we went to see the Galleria Borghese, or the Borghese Gallery. I think this might have been my favorite part of the trip. It almost brought me to tears how beautiful the inside of this museum truly is. It is decked out from floor to ceiling. They did not waste any space. Just look at the sheer detail of this painting that's on one of their ceilings. After we were finished at the gallery, it was time for a quick water refill, and we went on our way to walk towards and through the Spanish Steps, which you can see a viewpoint of here. On our last day, of course, we ended our last meal with gelato, and this was my very favorite and I think the best gelato I've ever had. I got 2 flavors, Super Nutella and Cannolo, which are right next to each other on screen there, and you can see them in my cone here. They were so tasty. We also went that night to a place called the Sanctuary, which it's tucked away in center Rome, and it's got this very jungle habitat nonsense going on, which is amazing. I loved the vibe. They also have a very hop-in dance scene, as you can see here. And to end off our very last night, we went to see the Trevi Fountain at approximately 3 in the morning. Yes, 3 in the morning. And you would call us crazy, but this is the best way to see the Trevi Fountain other than really, really early in the morning. It gets very crowded, and so this was kind of a very magical moment for us because we got to celebrate the very end of our trip by going to the Trevi Fountain when it was almost deserted. And here's my little Lizzie McGuire throw a coin in the fountain moment. That's the end of my travel diary for Rome. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.